Okay, so big news just happened a few days ago. It was revealed that Netflix bought Warner Brothers for a couple $1 billion. The thing is, and I think a lot of people have a right to kind of be upset if the idea of what Netflix likes to do is any implication, and that's the fact that if movies were to get released in theaters, it would be a very small window, if they even get released at all, right? I have this big concern that with what the CEO has openly stated in recent days that people are going to rather watch their movies at home than go to the theater. And in reality, he has a point. If the ticket prices are constantly going up, but the attendance in theaters are going down, unless it's a certain type of film, then he might actually have a point. But on the other hand, why don't you make it plausible for people to go to the theaters again? You know what I mean? Like Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein should have been in theaters. It should not have just been dropped on Netflix. It should have been in theaters. That should have been an IMAX event. That should have been an IMAX event, or at least a Dolby event like Jurassic World Rebirth was. And y'all didn't even want to do that. Y'all just put it on Netflix. Now, I think the frustrating reality is that movie going is a little bit of an outdated source of entertainment. Yeah, it's been around for over a century now, but going to the theater was what people did when you couldn't see it at home, and you really didn't see that movie again after seeing it in theaters for a very long time until VHS came around, DVD, stuff like that. So our access to film hasn't particularly been big for a very long time. Yes, mom. I have to be in work at 5:30. Okay. Yeah, I was actually about to go to bed when you called. I'm sorry, mom. Okay. Bye bye. But on the other hand, I could understand the idea that people wouldn't want to go to the theater anymore because it's so expensive. Like imagine having you and whoever you're married to, man or woman, and y'all got some kids. Y'all got two kids. Imagine going to see a movie in IMAX. Yo, IMAX tickets is like $21. That's $84 to go to an IMAX showing if you have four people. My dumb ass, I wouldn't do it unless I was an A-list member, and at least the tickets are a little bit cheaper, especially if you go to our matinee times. But even then, like, who wants to have to go through all that either? So I kind of get it. Even like regular ticket prices are like what 17, just like a regular format film. So I kind of understand why people wouldn't want to because it's expensive. But then movies like Zootopia 2 do crazy at the box office at like 900 million in a week and a half. So it just depends on the film whether it can get people into the theaters. But movie going is a little outdated and it's a little more expensive. Matter of fact, it's way more expensive than it used to. Like back in the 2000s, tickets used to be like what, $7? You can go to the opening weekend for a movie, $7. The pretzel bites used to be like $5 at AMC. Now they're like really not that. They're like eight something I think now. I don't really get movie food because like it's just ridiculous. Like I remember I was on a date with my girlfriend like a decade ago. This is my ex at the time. We went to go see Big Hero 6. So that's how long ago this relationship was. And I remember I think I might have spent like 60 something then because I remember thinking like we went to go see Big Hero 6. We were just regular screening format. I think our tickets were like 14 at the time, maybe a little bit less than that. So that was like 20 something, a little bit more. And then we got food. I think we got sodas, pretzel bites, and some nachos. That was like 30 something, maybe 40 something. I remember even then thinking, yo, this is crazy. I can only imagine what my mom had to spend back in the early 2000s when she took us to the theaters, but it wasn't nowhere near that much. Like my family, we would like share popcorn and a pretzel bite. She wouldn't get us all our own thing because of that. But the movie theater food wasn't that expensive in the early 2000s. The movie theater food got really expensive in the 2010s for some ass reason. But yeah, it's been crazy to think like only certain movies can get people into the theaters, and it's also crazy to think that The movie theater experience could be dead in the next 5 years, and people have a right to be upset if people like me who like to go to the theaters. That's what I do a lot. I like to go to the theaters and see a movie I want to see. I do enjoy the experience of seeing something like Top Gun Maverick or something like Superman in the theaters. It's just a different feeling when you see it in theaters and then you watch it at home. It's just a different experience. You get to see people's reactions to what went down in this film. Like, I remember someone telling me when they went to the theater to see Departed. Obviously I was too young at the time, so I couldn't see it. And the scene where DiCaprio get his head blown off, people like flipped out because they didn't see it coming. But you sitting in the crib by yourself watching it, you don't get that experience. You know what I mean? Like, imagine seeing Endgame at your house for the first time and Cat lifts Mjolnir compared to when we all saw it in 2019 and everybody went crazy in the theater. Like, it's a different experience that is going out the window, and that does make me a little upset. It does. It makes me a little upset. But again, this is a big thing. I think what they've been saying was the Republicans, or maybe just Donald Trump's dumbass, wants to like maybe stop it because it might be a monopoly or something. Something about him thinking he can get involved with it. And maybe Paramount could do something. I don't know. There's some crazy thing about what's going on. I just don't want the theater experience to die so soon. I'd rather it still kind of linger around for a while. But North Americans, it's very, very clear that the American box office is what's not keeping the box office alive. It is very much the overseas box office, because Utopia's money from overseas is insanity. So who knows? Maybe if overseas money, and I know overseas had a big impact on a couple of films this year, had a big impact on Black Bag because Black Bag did not do good over here, but it did really well overseas. That saved its box office. Movies like The Materialist and Eternity and Sinners didn't do well overseas. They actually do better over here. But movies like The Thunderbolts and Brave New World and Superman and Fantastic Four and all the other movies tend to get a big boost overseas. So those movies' box office were kind of saved, but not completely overseas. And it is something to consider. So I do think that this is a good thing because I would hate to have seen Warner Brothers go out of business, one of the big movie giants of the last century, going out like however. But it is a very clear fact that James Gunn still has control over DC, so that's a good thing. That contract just got extended. Um, so who knows? Who knows what got? Maybe HBO Max and Netflix will just merge, and now you don't have to pay for HBO Max and Netflix. You can just pay for Netflix, but have all the HBO stuff on Netflix. That would be nice, right? So let's think about that. Let's think about some other things that could come from this. But anyway, I think I went on long enough. It is interesting to see where this is going to go. This has been, 2025 has been a year. So let's just, look forward to the future and let's hope this doesn't end as badly as we're all thinking, right? But anyway, thanks for sitting in this video for this long. If you like what I had to say, let me know how you feel down below. Comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.